This is a battle in the Use It and Lose It tournament. Same players, same map, slightly different factions. Tylis versus Boii this time. And for Boii it's different than it's for R4G2. Let's just go over the armies real quick. We have light horse, very strange. Heavy horse, 3 heavy horse. Then we have how many? 4 sword followers, 3 oath Zorn and Celtic. Yep. Then we have the Morgan Levy Freeman, of course. For Tylis we have raiding horse, I assume 4 raiding horse, Levy free, Celtic slingers, Levy free, Gallo Thracians, 4 tribal warriors because there's a max 4, and then 3 oath Zorn together with the MLG Freeman and the raiding horseman. So R4G2 versus Tylis, it's once again, I'm going to say it's an interesting matchup, and the reason why I think so is because the infantry advantage isn't as pronounced for Tylis as it is when Tylis is facing, say, R4G2 or Iceni. And once again, the difference has to be made up by the cavalry, but it's not like the sword followers are just going to disintegrate when they charge into tribal warriors. Now they do have much lower melee defense, but they do have much higher melee attack. They have a decent enough charge bonus. It's not stellar, but one of the main differences between these two units is that at 65 morale and at 55 morale, you'll see the tribal warriors. For example, if the tribal warriors start losing decisively, they are under fire, they get hit by rare charge, you might see tribal warriors break very quickly if they're not near Oath Zorn, whereas the sword followers are going to be staying in the fight for much longer. So that is buying essentially, that's the thing with the tribal warriors, it's often easier to rout them than it is to just kill all of them, because they have a lot of armor, a decent amount of health.
Get running! Run, Cashew!
You rarely see these light horse being used to good effect, and in competitive games it's all about mass with melee cavalry, all about mass. And if you don't have, like, heavy horse are not good against enemy cavalry, but that's not how you're going to be using them. You're going to be using them against enemy infantry, and then you're going to be using the Levy Freeman against enemy cavalry most of the time. So once again here, Tylis is going wide, trying to surround the forest here. Thing is though, under the rules, both players need to attack, and the way I read the rules, that means that Boii can't just camp the forest and wait for Tylis to come to it.
Warriors, move out!
Because that would be going on the defensive. If there isn't a single unit trying to do something offensively, then that's not attacking. But then again, attacking could also, I mean, just sending up a unit of slingers to do a bit of skirmishing back and forth. There isn't much of a difference. And that's what usually happens in these tournaments. When you have a, or often happens in these tournaments, when you have a decisive terrain advantage, why would you want to give up that terrain advantage? Especially if you're facing a stronger faction. In this case, the factions are very, well, not very evenly matched, but they are somewhat evenly matched. I would feel safer against most opponents bringing Tylis than Boii, just because I have heavy melee cavalry and my mainline infantry has 65 base morale. That helps a lot.
Kill!
This the thing is, against Tylis, it's fairly safe to spread out as wide as you can, because usually there won't be any cavalry there to ruin your day with frontal cav charges. The Celtic Slingers moving up, wanting to fire a bit on these Oathsworn, I'm sure. Nope, they thought the better of it. Now they're pulling back. And once again, here we have some Celtic bows. Interesting choice. In the forest, they will be better suited to take on these Celtic Slingers. So they're going to be getting rapid increases in kills here against these Celtic Slingers. But firing on the Oathsworn should take priority. Just don't care about the Slingers, just focus on the Oathsworn. Get a few kills in there, do a bit of damage. Now they're taking fire. Even if they kill a single Oathsworn, the hit point damage is going to be there. Oh, raiding horsemen incoming. The heavy horse responded and the raiding horse pulled away. So nice move there with the raiding horse, but it's not. This isn't terrain you want to engage in because you don't have a complete overview of the situation. So going very, very wide here is Tylis. And it doesn't look like Tylis, let's see, Tribals, Oathsworn. It doesn't look like Tylis wants to engage through the center here, which I probably wouldn't have wanted to engage through the center either. Because the defensive position that Boii has here is very strong. Taking less damage from skirmish fire, less damage from precursors. But it's a bit weird because Boii does have the cavalry advantage, and when you have the cavalry advantage, most of the time you want to stay in the open. Raiding horsemen taking a few shots there. Heavy horse turning around, and just as they do that, the raiding horse go for a bit of trolling. They actually charge the heavy horse and then pull out, which was interesting. And they won't be able to get a lot of kills this way, and they lost quite a few men. The Celtic Slingers are firing, but they're not firing on the Levy Freemen, which is good. Firing on Oathsworn. At this stage, it's very much about patience. You'll see some players just say, fuck it, I'm not going to be playing this type of game, and then just YOLOing in and losing horribly. And I've done that myself sometimes. And it comes down to the maps in Rome 2 just not being. There are some maps that are decent for competitive play, but anytime those precursors. So the raiding horse just get massacred by precursors. But anytime the objective is simply to annihilate the enemy, it severely limits the amount of armies that are viable and the way you can play, because at some point there's going to be an engagement. The only thing units can do is they can try to kill each other, and the units that are in the most advantageous position on the battlefield are of course going to have an easier time killing the enemy and staying alive. So certain things are banned, like camping the red line, camping the corner. Those would be the extremes of taking advantage of the battlefield, but those things are straight out banned. And people try to make rules where people just can't camp on advantageous terrain spots either, because then you could just encircle a hill and hold that hill. But oh, these Oathsworn are losing decisively. They had taken some prior damage, and that's the importance of these units like these Celtic bowmen. It allows this Oathsworn here to absolutely murder the other Oathsworn, and it hasn't even used Battle Rhythm, hasn't even used Headhunt yet, which, to be frank, it should have done early on to kill the Oathsworn quicker. Especially since this is a general's unit, it needs to win taking as few casualties as possible. Cavalry charging into tribals in the center here. The tribal are taking casualties. Gallo-Thracians will just murder Levy Freemen. If Gallo-Thracians had 60 health, I mean, they have 32 charge. That is quite amazing. So levy 3 versus levy 3, raiding horsemen firing into the blob here of Celtics and sword followers. The raiding horse are about to break anyway. They're actually firing on the levy 3 men. That's a bit of a micro mistake there. They're not firing on the sword followers, and that might be enough to break the Celtic warriors being under fire there and losing a few more men. So here the Gallo-Thracians being pulled out while the tribals go in. Nice use of the Gallo-Thracians. If they're able to swing around and get a second charge, but there are these light horse running about. So once again, the central engagement here hasn't gone too well for Tylis. Tribals here fighting up against sword followers. The sword followers are losing decisively though, but the tribal warriors get attacked in the rear and they are steady in orange morale though. They're about to get flanked by sword followers. Heavy horse cleaning up the Celtic slingers. More Gallo-Thracians coming in to support. Rally is super important for Tylis to keep the tribals in the fight longer. Here you can see the tribals, they're not really getting a lot of killing done, and that's the problem with the... If you get your charge bonus robbed as the tribal warriors, you're looking at 30 melee attack. And against the unit in shield wall, 30 melee attack isn't that impressive. Now the raiding horse are being spanked. Let's see, in the center in the forest here, the Tylian general he could die at any moment. He is very tired. He doesn't have second wind. With Tylis in particular, it might be... It's a bit of a toss-up between the commander general and the strategist general, because you really need increased morale at key points in the battle. So usually the thing is you go strategist, second wind, battle rhythm on your Oathsworn, so you can use headhunt, but with Tylis it's a bit different. Still, it wouldn't have been bad to have that combination. And there it is. The Tylian general has shattered. The general has recently died, and lo and behold, it's going to go the way of Boii in this battle. I do think Boii, like I said in the beginning, Boii is a more versatile faction than Tylis, and in my opinion more powerful under these rules. Now, the thing is, so Blood Leopard takes it. Good game to both guys. You'll see people start playing a bit more conservatively now that it's nearing the end of the tournament. There is, I believe it was 100, was it 100 euros or 100 euro price for Steam games. So I'm sure people want to get that. And let's see here. Yeah, 3 Oathsworn, 4 sword followers. Just doing a lot better than the tribal warriors overall. And the lack of cavalry, the lack of durable melee cavalry really makes itself felt when you are playing as Tylis. Actually, Tylis only had 2 Oathsworn and had 2 Gallo-Thracians instead. So 3 Oathsworn for Boii and 4 sword followers. Now the thing with Tylis is that Tylis is more versatile in infantry than Boii is. Boii is still versatile enough in infantry because they have axe warriors, they have cheap cavalry counter tactic spears. But in terms of melee infantry, then Tylis, when unchecked by any rules, they could do some very interesting things. Because Tylis has both the tribal warriors and the Gallo-Thracians. Extremely deadly. Tylis can bring some obscene armies to the battlefield if they just bring melee infantry for the most part and just say fuck it to spears. They only have spear warriors. Spear warriors decent enough a unit, a bit of armor and cavalry counter tactics, but the lack of mid-tier melee cavalry is what really hurts Tylis. And if it doesn't make all the sense in the world going directly from light horse to a noble horse, but they sort of have to lack something, because they have very good infantry, and if they had the raiding horsemen and the mid-tier cavalry, things would just get too ridiculous. So thanks for sending the games. Congratulations for advancing. Strength and honor.